Hello, welcome to the Villa Talks podcast. As promised, we are back, second week in a row. No 6-month break like last time. I'm back this week with a few familiar faces again. Alec is joining us back, second week in a row. Going to be a series regular. Also joining this week, Sam and Carl. Carl's back. New season, first start. How are you, Carl?
Yeah, match fit, ready to go.
Match fit. How was pre-season?
Not a lot of fitness work.
It's unlike you, mate.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So, a good camera angle. You said before the pod started, you look like one of the dads on Facebook.
Yeah. The typical profile picture of a Facebook dad. But it's gonna have to do.
You need a bit more chin, don't you? Like a bit more
I've
kind of angle.
This beard is hiding a multitude of chins.
Very good. Alec, how are you, mate? You not on a boat today?
I'm on the boat, mate. But
you are on the boat. All right.
Yeah, I found a quieter spot with a little less noise for the listeners and yourselves.
Good.
Yeah, all good, mate. It's been sad times without Villa for a couple of weeks. Double whammy, mate. Mrs. moved to Thailand and no Villa for 2 weeks, so it's been hard.
Well, every cloud and that, so
that's it.
Sam,
good to see
how are you,
boys.
mate? Yeah, and you, mate? Are you good?
Not bad. Yeah, can't complain. Like very similarly, I'm sick of international football. I'm just we'll probably talk about Konsa later, but that's the only thing that I've noticed about these matches is one, Kazi didn't sing the anthem, and two, Konsa injury maybe. The rest of it, what is the point? I can't be bothered to follow it.
We'll touch on that in a second. We'll definitely talk about Konsa. We'll definitely talk about England international break, and then look forward to obviously the week ahead. So this week, back to our normal format. Last week was very much opportunistic pod, given what happened with the Champions League ticket pricing. It was a way to come back at a good time and talk about that really for the main. This week, we're going to obviously do the normal sort of from the stands of Villa Park, talk about some of the news stories. No match review as such, because obviously the international break. But we'll still do a semi-hero and villain of the week, and then vital statistics. We'll look forward to the Everton game and preview that. Usual caveat, obviously, it's the most played fixture in the league. We all know that. So a lot of the stats and stuff we're going to talk about, we've talked about a million times before. And then Sam's back this week with Villa Vault. So Villa Vault making its first appearance of the season as well. So usual format. Anything you guys want to talk about? Anything you want to add to the agenda, guys? No.
No.
Right.
Sounds like a full agenda to me.
Full agenda, doesn't it? That'll take us to an hour, won't it? Easily. So
we can have AOB. We can have AOB at the end.
We can AOB. I'm sure there'll be plenty of AOB. So here he is from the stands of Villa Park. So it continues to be a pretty quiet Villa Park, doesn't it? Not really. It's plenty going on in the background, on and off the pitch. Big news stories on the pitch, semi on the pitches. Tyrone Mings and Boubacar Kamara back in training. Massive news, isn't that, Carl? Both of those back in full training.
Yeah, it's difficult to know how sort of close they are to sort of making the bench. I'm very surprised that. I suppose there's different grades of injury, isn't there? Even though Kamara, Buendia and Mings all had very similar injuries. Presumably Kamara's wasn't as bad as Tyrone's. But yeah, great. I mean, Kamara has been massively missed. Having Onana in the middle has kind of helped with that. But he can't come back soon enough for, as far as I'm concerned. Mings, it'll be great. I don't know quite how it'll work. I don't know if he's going to be a squad player. I mean, he'll have to be for a while whilst he's sort of getting back to full fitness. But I'm interested to see what happens with there, because I think the idea initially was that Mings was going to be the left-sided centre-back and Power was going to play as like a left-back that sort of makes a free. That's what it seemed like was going to happen. But I can't see how that would work. But yeah, interested and glad that they're both on their way back.
Sam, I mean, Boubacar Kamara is, he was one of our standout players last season before he got injured. Obviously, so integral to that centre midfield, and really before this summer window, you couldn't really think of a Aston Villa starting 11 without him, really, because he was so important. And we saw with Douglas Luiz tailing off towards the end of last season with him not playing, how important Kamara was and is to this team. Now with Onana joining, Tielemans doing so well and filling in there now and doing that Luiz job. Where do you fit? Where do you fit Kamara in, or is it a good problem to have? And that's the reason why we have the squad we do.
It's definitely a good problem to have, and there'll be a lot of games. And when we last season with Tielemans, when he came in, he I don't know whether it was his agent talking or whether it leaked to the press, but he wasn't happy with the amount of game time he got. And so, there was a bit of rotation having to go on them. But then as the season progressed, obviously he got loads of game time because of injuries and the pack program takes its toll. So I do think that it's a good problem to have, and we need those numbers, or we will over the course of the season. But for me, I think that once Kamara's fit, I think Monchi and Damien Vidagani referenced it, and we talked about this last week, that they see them playing as a double pivot, Onana and Kamara. And I think if we play a double pivot of those two with Tielemans playing further advanced as a 3 in that midfield, I mean, I can't think of it. You'd be going back a long time to think of a midfield 3 with that level of technical quality. And obviously with the dynamism of Onana there as well. I think it poses questions about where McGinn goes. Obviously he can play higher up, he can play wide. But I think the fact is that those kind of 4, McGinn, Onana, Tielemans, and Kamara will just rotate around those midfield 3 spots. People will get a rest when they need it. But the quality of 3 out of those 4, I'm really happy with. I think, keep them all fit. I think we can really do something this season. And, control games, which is obviously what, that's what Emery was talking about from the get-go when he came into the club. He wants to have the players to control the game. And those 3, 3 of those 4, I think, can really do that.
I mean, Alec, we were all a little bit surprised that Barrenechea, who we signed as part of the Douglas Luiz deal, was allowed to leave on loan, especially because I think he's 23. Not much of a not really a prospect as such in terms of, yes, he hasn't played as much first team football as others of that same age, but probably we thought he's more ready for the first team. But I suppose it gives you an idea of why they were willing to let him go out on loan when they had Kamara coming back. Obviously, something we didn't know in terms of how quick he'd be back, but. It's probably. Do you think there's enough options there now in midfield with those 3 plus McGinn and Ramsey who can play there?
Yeah, 100%. I think I agree with what Sam was just saying there about the talent pool we've got in midfield now with Onana, Tielemans, McGinn. We've not even spoken about Barkley much, who's not really had a chart.
Of course, I totally forgot about him. Yeah.
So yeah, we're even to the point now we're forgetting what we've got on the bench and how good it is. But with Barrenechea, I'm sure between Monchi, Emery, Vidagani, or Monchi and Emery, they've said it's the best thing for him right now with the depth we've got. So I actually think that would be a blessing for Villa that he's out playing a high level. He's Valencia, no? Is he with Valencia?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think that's only a good thing. I don't know if you boys watched any of the France-Belgium game, but it sounds like afterwards Kevin De Bruyne has dug out a couple of his fellow teammates, particularly. It sounds like perhaps they aimed at Onana and Tielemans. So I think that's only better ammo for when we come up against Man City in a not too distant future. But I think we got so much quality in our midfield now, and we all know how Emery can develop players, and having Onana at this stage of his career, I just think it's super exciting how much of a player he can develop into, especially really with the talent he's got. So yeah, I think lots to be positive about in that Villa midfield, 100%.
Yeah, I completely missed that about De Bruyne. Actually, I had heard someone mentioned something about him having to play with Rodri and Gundogan and players like that normally, and then having to play with Onana and Tielemans. But I thought it was a bit of a flippant comment.
Did he actually say that? Did he use those words?
I don't think he named Tielemans and Onana, but he basically said his midfield around him wasn't up to it. And he put the boot in on quite a few teammates without saying their names. So
right,
yeah, I think that's only good ammo for our boys when we come up against that City midfield.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'm loving that, to be honest.
Yeah, good. No, I didn't know that. And obviously Tyrone Mings, Carl. Just quickly, Tyrone's been quite open about the struggles he's faced. I think in his recovery, it's been a long time. Obviously, a really nasty injury. Something he's had. He's had a similar injury before as well. I remember my brother saw him in Leamington's local Sainsbury's actually about 6 months ago, I think it was, and he wasn't looking great then. He looked pretty down, and you could see sort of the muscle in his leg that had deteriorated because obviously he hadn't been able to train. But now he looks back to his former self, and the fact he's in full training. And again, similar to Onana, the fact that we haven't signed a left-sided centre back. Hermoso was linked, others were linked. Must mean that the backroom team are pretty confident that Tyrone Mings can make an impact this season.
Yeah, you'd have thought so. Actually, my mate saw him at a snooker hall in Sturchley, and it's an absolute shithole. So I don't know what he was doing there, and he's got a picture of him in there. I mean, obviously he was in there playing snooker.
Wow.
But I mean, why he chose Sturchley snooker hall, I have no idea. But yeah, no, it's really good. It would be great to have him back. I think to be for him to be in and around the team properly, and hopefully he can play a part this season. Because when you hear him speak, whilst I'm sure he was pleased of how the team were getting on, for him to not really be a part of it, I bet that stung. So yeah, I mean, it's great. Even if he happens to be our third choice centre half, it's a very good third choice centre half to have.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so good news there on both fronts there. That squad's looking very healthy at the moment. Other news, obviously, let's talk about England. So talking of squads, obviously there was everyone sort of held their breath when Ezri Konsa went down, and then went down again later on. But it seems like he should be okay. It seems like it's a contact injury from what it's been said on various outlets. Sam, how important would Ezri Konsa be if he was to get injured? I think again it shows you've got Diego Carlos there in the background, obviously, who can step in, but Konsa's vital, isn't it? Sorry, Sam. Did you hear? Sorry, that was for
mate. Mate, I think I'd be gutted. I think he's been quality ever since Emery stepped in, and even before that. The drop off from Konsa to Carlos is massive. And also, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Konsa, if you look at kind of injury record, Konsa very, very rarely gets injured. So it'd be just our luck for him to go on England duty. And don't get me wrong, we've all on this podcast been banging the drum for him to get England recognition. He is definitely of that quality, and it does sort of annoy you when you see much lesser centre halves getting their name linked with the England team, and Konsa was getting overlooked when we saw his quality week in, week out. So I'm happy for him that he's playing, but it would be really annoying if a man that never gets injured picks up an injury in a meaningless bloody Nations League second division game. In a relatively innocuous challenge. That would just be typical. So hopefully he's fit. Hopefully, we don't have the same injury problems that we had last season. And if we do have injury problems this season, we definitely don't want them in the middle of defence. No. Because, as we've said, we're not as well stocked there as we are elsewhere in the team. So, hopefully he'll be fine. Not that I think that Everton pose that much of an attacking threat. I mean, Calvert-Lewin, I suppose, a bit of a handful on his day. But,
why did you say that, Sam? Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
It's called confidence. And also,
I saw Carl straight away go, what?
Mate, I could go through the Villa Vault, right? Everton have got such a crap record at Villa Park in recent years. Like it's nailed on. It's nailed on. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. No. And, go on.
Sorry, I was with AJ last night of the pod fame, and I'd said to him, 3 injuries you don't want this season: Martinez, Watkins, although right now it wouldn't feel as bad because Jovan's knocking in the goals, and Konsa. And that was 5 minutes later. I checked the BBC live text, and it was like Konsa's down with an injury, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. So that was my fault.
Yeah, so it's your fault he's injured then, yeah. Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers,
yeah.
Carl.
Yeah. Take full blame.
Does anyone see Martinez having a go, smacking the
Yeah.
camera away?
Yeah.
Just typical
Yeah.
Emmy, isn't it?
Good. Love it,
cool.
Emmy. Keep it going.
Yeah.
Very rarely he loses a game, so obviously wasn't very happy. But apart from that, and sort of trying to think what else international football. Who else? Apart from we talked about Nana Tillemans, Luca Dean had an excellent game.
Yeah,
again.
I saw that. Please,
getting rave reviews, and he was actually in the news talking about Unai Emery and how Unai's helped him step up his game and get to that elite level. And I think in particular he's talking about how he's helped him in terms of his body positioning when he's defending, which is, again, level of detail Unai goes into, with individual players. Going back to our overall point that we always make about Unai making every player better, it shows you the level of detail that they're going into with that. And obviously Luca Dean, who we thought, let's be honest, last year, we thought he just, wouldn't be here with his wages, but he continues to be a stalwart of this team and a starter and continues to perform well and probably been one of our best players this season, I would say, so far.
We used to use the term powder puff about him, didn't we, Omar? He always seemed a little bit soft in the tackle.
Yeah.
Gets shrugged off the ball too easily. And maybe his positioning was a little bit off. And he doesn't. I guess if his positioning is better, then he doesn't need to make the tackle, and therefore, he doesn't look like he's always coming off the wrong end of the duel. So I'm sure that has made a big difference to him. But I've been really impressed. Is the assist for Duran's goal at Leicester was sumptuous. More of that, basically, we want from him. But Moreno's gone, and his ability to bomb forward and link up with Ramsey was really key to us getting into the Europa Conference League. But actually, I think Dean's playing as well as Moreno ever played. So
we've seen Ian Maatsen and Ramsey link up well as well against, obviously, with the West Ham goal as well. So there's the makings of a good partnership there as well. So that's international break over with. Let's not talk about it too much. No one really likes it. It's pointless, regardless of your views on who sings the national anthem or not. That's not. I can't be asked him to talk about it.
Rogers, let's not forget Rogers.
Rogers, scored a brace and looked. Yeah, I mean, he's too good for that level, isn't he? Let's be honest.
I'm pretty sure he was giving. Was he giving Lee Carsley the phone call as well? We're waiting for the phone call. I think there's a celebration.
Yeah, he did his Cole celebration, and then BT Sport said, he's copying Cole Palmer's in, and thousands of Villa fans descended upon BT Sport. How fucking dare you? And BT Sport didn't know what was coming, but apart from that, other news. Here we go. Who's seen this picture?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. It's a little bit like that
because I've sent it to you.
Is it got a little bit of likeness to that old United kit, isn't it?
Yeah, very similar to that. So this is so I got told about this kit a while ago, but I didn't know. I knew it was sort of navy blue, but it's a tribute to. I'll keep it on there. It's a tribute to our founder McGregor, obviously, with the statue standing in front of Villa Park, him being Scottish. This is a tribute to a Scottish kit. In effect, because of that, because it's obviously the 150th anniversary. I really like the kit. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts, but I'm quite gutted that we haven't got the trefoil logo. The old school Adidas logo. I was hoping we'd get that. Even Leeds have got it, and
that's a good shout.
Leeds, to be honest. What do you guys think?
I like it. It's fine.
Yeah, I like it. I'm not crazy about white badges. That's one thing I'd say. When the crest is white.
Yeah. AJ, you'll be good. You'll get on well with AJ then. He hates it. He hates the monochrome.
I missed a bit of claret and blue always.
Yeah.
For me, it's just a couple of shades away from Birmingham City, and I can't get over that.
Yeah. No, fair enough. I don't mind it. I quite like it. Obviously, it looks better on Matty Cash than it would on any of us. But
I don't know.
All right, sorry. All right.
Would look all right on you, Omar.
Cash has got a ginger beer by the looks of it.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. So that's that, and then the only other news, obviously, is Champions League is coming soon. We've talked about ticket pricing, and we'll probably hear Carl's thoughts on it because obviously he wasn't on the last pod, and I'm sure it's got plenty to say on that. But obviously, young boys next week. I did see Villa tweet this out today. For those interested, they're going to host a screening of the match at the Cherish View at Villa Park. £5 per ticket, but you do get a welcome drink included. So.
The drinks at Villa Park are more expensive than £5. They're paying you to go in, essentially, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's weird.
I think drink is tap water. I think.
Yeah. it's the piss, isn't it, on the floor?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The recycling.
Yeah. Help us clean up. Yeah. But yeah, fair play. I mean, I don't think that's bad at all, to be honest. I think it was free last year, but obviously, if you get a welcome drink, that's pretty good. And watch it with your fellow Villa fan.
And that's a way of raising revenue without being absolute arseholes about it.
Yeah.
So we'll come on to that in a second, which brings us nicely onto our next section, which is going to be Hero and Villain of the Week. We normally use this as an opportunity to talk about and review the previous match, but given that's been and gone and we had the international break in between, we'll do a sort of a cut down version of Hero and Villain of the Week. Carl, this is very much your segment, mate. Who are you going with?
Yeah, so we'll start off with Hero. Chris Heck. No, only joking. Hero. It has to be. I mean, there's been some awful news this week. Don't know whether everyone's seen it about Gary Shaw. Not really sure what his condition is. I don't think Villa have tweeted out about it yet, which I don't know what to make of that. It might be his family have said not to sort of put it out there, but I never saw him play. Everyone I know that did said he was one of the very best. He was a massive part of the best period of history to be for Aston Villa. And everyone who's met him outside of football as well said he was a really great bloke and had time for everyone. So yeah, I mean, easy choice for me this week, Gary Shaw, and fingers crossed he pulls through. Yeah, I know. Obviously, he had a fall, as the news has been put out there, and is in a coma. Gary Shaw, regularly you see him at Villa Park quite often. Obviously, a local lad. Lived out his dream at Villa, and obviously won the biggest trophy of all, really, the European Cup, and what we're obviously playing for now, the Champions League. So, really horrible news. Him and Peter Witham were my dad's heroes. That's all he ever talked about when we were growing up, about how good those two were. Gary Shaw in particular, being a local lad, a Villa fan, he has a lot of fans of that generation and generation before that, and who saw him play, absolutely love and adore him, and he's so important to the history of our club and what he did. And we all wish and send him our best, and wish our best to his family as well, and hope he pulls through, and we hope we hear good news soon. But yeah, no, really, really awful news. Carl, to Villain of the Week. Yeah, so from a hero to a villain, and actually, it's going to be Villains of the Week. Now, I know there's some hot discussion about this, and you're not really allowed to say it. But obviously, part of this trio of villains, I would say, is Chris Heck, and him being the figurehead that has told us all that they're going to charge us nearly £100 for a match ticket. I'm not going to go into it too much about what I think about it. I mean, the fact that he's a villain probably tells you all you need to know. I think it's disgusting. I understand, and they can explain the reasons all they want, but it's bollocks. There's no need to put this onto the fans. I'm not sure about the protest. I don't know. It's ultimately, I feel like we have to do something, but I don't want it to be the detriment of the team. But 97 seconds of holding up a red card shouldn't affect that too much. But so Wes and Naz, they saved us. They were there. They were our knights in shining armour, and we've got to be massively thankful to them for that. But Chris Heck hasn't made this decision without them knowing exactly what's going to happen. If not their exact instruction. His instruction is make as much money as you can. He would have to run this past them, and they're okay with it. So a lot of people, when I've mentioned this, are, no, we can't say anything bad about them. but I don't think that's right. I think our owners and Chris Eck, whatever his job title is, chief bullshitter, seems to be what he tends to be doing. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to bring the discussion around to that and what you lot think about, because it is difficult. I don't want to criticise them because they saved us from going bust. Although they also bought an asset at a very low price, so it wasn't completely selfless. But
Yeah, I mean, they are billionaires for a reason, and I hope we were balanced on the pod last week when we talked about it. I think we all sit on the same side of the fence in terms of what we think about it, and the impact on the Villa fan base as a whole, and the potential future implications of this sort of pattern of increasing hospitality, increasing revenue, increasing ticket prices. There's an understanding there in terms of revenue, in terms of PSR, and what we need to do, and how far away we are from other clubs on that front. But I think there's also acknowledgement that for your average working class fan, and someone on X said, "What is a working class fan? What you would class it as?" Well, so I'm not going to sit here and talk about specific, definitions of it. I think everyone knows what a working class fan is. Someone who can, afford the Villa match or a season ticket is being priced out, and that's the core fan base, really. That's what we're talking about. But we acknowledge that the need for revenue. We acknowledge that the owners have done, as Carl's mentioned, what they've done. They've saved us, but ultimately they are looking for an opportunity to make money. And people talking about they've put £400 million of their own money in. Yeah, but they're probably sitting on an asset now that is worth a lot more than that. And ultimately, it's their decision making that's got us to this position, but also the decision making that's got us to the position where we have to raise revenue, and where we've had issues with Coutinho, Dendoncker, Luca Dean, Carlos. These types of players on high wages, and the Gerrard fiasco paying off the entire backroom staff, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just one point that I saw somewhere today, that the 4 million I think it's going to raise additionally if we sell out, just the ticket prices, that doesn't even pay for Dendoncker's wages. So I mean, like, the effect it has on the fans is huge, but the actual the outcome for the club is minuscule.
Yeah. As the comment there just said about the percentage of turnover, we get it. We get it. We have to raise revenue. We're far off that, and we've sort of taken it on the chin in terms of hospitality and hospitality in the whole end. Changing, having the sales, having, basically, I don't know if you sat in the upper hole recently, but the same seat. One seat costs £79, the other seat costs £130, and it's directly behind each other. All you're getting is 2 extra drinks for that. We take that on board. There's a need to raise revenue, and there's a need to do more with hospitality and have different experiences and get that casual fan in. I appreciate that. I don't 100% agree with it, but I understand it. But this I think is our first year in Champions League. We've talked about it. It is what it is, and you're right. There is not just we've talked about Heck, the blame doesn't just lie on his feet, and ultimately, the owners are looking to make money. They're looking. It's a private equity type investment, and they always have a shelf life. Much like we were all, hypnotized with Randy Lerner when he first came in, what he was trying to do, and General Krulak and all that. I don't know if you remember all of that. We thought they couldn't do any wrong, and look what position they left us in. You have to see things with a critical eye. As much good as they've done, you have to always keep one eye open and understand that they're not. There might be Villa fans now, but they weren't Villa fans from the beginning, and they're in it for a reason, i.e. to make money ultimately, and they see it as an opportunity to make money.
Having said all that, I bought a ticket on Tuesday. So,
So I knew it'd sell out. We knew it'd sell out, didn't we? We said it in the pod. It's understandable, but it doesn't make it right, does it?
I held my nose and I got my credit card out, and it was just one of those things. But and also like the membership is such a scam now because of all the hospitality. So everybody who's got a season ticket, and then whatever tickets are left over, the Claret membership would always sort of entitle you to go for those first. There's hardly any of them because of all the hospitality. So, God knows how many memberships they've sold, but for a bit of tap from the club shop, that's all you're getting, because you really are going to struggle to get the tickets for the games that you want.
Yeah,
Unless
it used to guarantee you a ticket, the membership.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and I'm talking up until last season, I was able to get any ticket I ever wanted. Like,
Yeah.
but it seems like they sold out within about 45 minutes. Was it maybe less than that?
Less, yeah.
Yeah. So
I think I was just going to say I've had a bit of time to reflect on this one, and I totally agree with Carl coming in with what he said. And there's nothing we can say to kind of make these ticket prices sound reasonable, but you sometimes have to think back to the days where we've watched Villa dross for season after season with managers like McLeish, watching Villa under Graham Taylor, and there's no way I'd swap where we are now for anything I've seen as a Villa fan in the past. So I totally agree. I'm not able to go to Villa Park week in, week out. I'm abroad, living abroad. And I do feel for all the fans, there's a lot of empathy there that are probably a bit pushed to afford these prices in this Champions League kind of run that we're going to have. But I think there is an element of I wouldn't swap where we are now. And I think we've got to understand this was always going to come a little bit with an American influence in terms of like marketing and the business side of the club. So we can't be naive. This was going to come with the growth, the marketing, but it doesn't make it right. But the club's going in the right direction, and hopefully down the line, there's some sort of loyalty kind of back to the supporters, and there's some sort of payback for the supporters for this hike in prices, which I hope will happen.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. I think that's fair.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
No, I think that's fair. I think a lot of fans are probably have softened their stance on it, rightly or wrongly. I've talked about where I sit, and I still very strongly believe it's disgusting and the wrong thing, as Carlos mentioned. But at the same time, I think a lot of fans have said, they've seen the statement, at least they've said something, whether it's right or wrong, whether it is actually, justifiable or not. I think you'll see on Saturday there'll be very few red cards out, I imagine, and whether you agree with that as a form of protest or not. But I think as the football comes back in, people will forget about it. The key for me is, we've got to be remain vigilant that this doesn't become a pattern where we end up in a situation where, it does truly become. I understand the American model. I've been to New York Mets and places like that, and how it works and the different, hospitality areas and things like that. But we want to make sure it doesn't go too far, that we don't lose the core fan base, because you lose the atmosphere, you lose the heartbeat of the club, you lose the culture of the club. And I think that's, especially in English football, I think that's so important. It's a reason why everyone watches the league around the world. It's why the best players play here. And we saw with COVID, obviously, without the fans, that football's just not the same. But we'll leave it there. Sorry, go on, quickly.
I was just going to say, Holmes, it's why I suppose it's really important we have some ambassadors that live and breathe Villa around the club, so that kind of American business head doesn't take over the heartbeat and the actual what the club stands for and what it's all about. So hopefully we've got some of those heads in there that don't take it too much towards the American model of sport in a way. We want growth, but we want the fans to be a big part of that growth, and keep the good vibes going at Villa, because they're in a good place. So look after the fans, and they're there all the way, aren't they? So yeah.
And just quickly, just finish off there, Roger. But why is the match day experience so poor? Rubbish service, food, drink, and the toilets are terrible. Happy to pay for a better day out. I think that's important. I think it's a very good point. I think we saw that with the first game. Let's see what it's like on Saturday, and see. Obviously, there's a new fan zone and things like that. So we'll see what it's like. But we do, they obviously spent a lot of time focusing on the hospitality areas. The cheapest seats in the stadium and north stand have now become some of the more expensive seats with the cells and things like that. So it doesn't really sit right with me, that kind of thing, but I understand it at the same time. But it seems a lot of focuses on those areas rather than the general match. The upper hole, Trinity. These sort of fans who go there day in, day out. Week in, week out. And I've been going for years through the bad and the good times. They seem to be forgotten a little bit. Would you say?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think look. Yes, I mean, I absolutely love the fact that we qualified for the Champions League. I love the fact that we can, play Man City off the park at home. we've come a long way. There's no question about that. But I also think that, Leicester won the league with a team that was assembled on a shoestring. They didn't have to sell out the soul of the club to do it. So I actually don't.
Well, they do have happy clappers though, don't they?
They do.
got
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think that, it's Champions League at all costs, and it's, screw over the bloke and the woman who's been there for the last 25 years in order to get there. I just don't see that as a reasonable trade-off, and I don't accept that it is actually a trade-off. I think that, as Carl said, that money really is a drop in the ocean. More prudent squad management, better recruitment, and that's not on Unai, or of course it isn't, but it is on Edens and Naz. So yeah, I just think that it's really wrong-headed. I think it's a real shame, and I think I said this last week, but I think it's worth repeating. If what you're saying to the fans is, we're going to get you to the Champions League, it's going to be the first time that we qualify for the new competition, the Champions League. Obviously, we were in the European Cup and won it, but actually, you're not going to be able to afford to go. How many fans would have said, "Well, what's the point in that?" And I've been here 25 years. You get me to the promised land, and then you say the door's closed. I don't buy that at all. Bang out of order.
Yes, it's a good point. I think when you crunch the numbers as well and say you're talking about an extra 4 million, and you look at the money we've wasted on certain players' wages and players going out on loan, the likes of Coutinho, the Donker, and some of the crap Gerrard brought in, then to feel the backlash of that on fans it's completely wrong. I don't disagree with anything you boys are saying at all.
And you get fans saying, and I can't kind of get it, but I don't. Saying, well, the owners have put their money in their pockets. Why can't fans? Well, they're putting their money in their pocket because they own the club, and they're going to get some sort of return, hopefully.
And we're not asking for free football. We're asking you to not completely take the piss. That's all. It's a reasonable request. Don't take the piss out of us, because we'll be here when you've gone. So we're what makes the club. You've helped us out. Thank you. We appreciate everything you've done, but don't take us for idiots.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Yeah. We'll leave it there. So thankfully, football is back this weekend. We'll see.
Yes.
We'll see how that. I think that will stop a lot of the problems. Obviously, there's been no football, then this is everyone's been focused on. Whereas football starts again, I think it will refocus the mind, and hopefully it'll get the head and co to understand the importance of the fans as well. Again, I think that sometimes that can get lost. When you're in management meetings all week and talking about business, you sort of forget about why you're there in the first place, and you see it all the time in various businesses, not just football. So Everton this week, obviously at home, 5:30 p.m. kick-off this week. So here is Vital Statistics.
Vital Statistics, ladies! Vital Statistics, out of today. Vital Statistics, what will the stats say?
So Alex tells me that he's been doing weeks and weeks of prep on this Everton match. He's been studying videos, speaking to Scousers, learning the language. He's prepared, as the motto goes. So Alec, over to you, mate. Your thoughts on the match coming up?
Yeah, well, Everton, a few injuries there. Still no Branthwaite is there. Sounds like there's Ashley Young's going to come back into the fold at fullback. So Youngie, I'm not sure if Youngie can even run anymore. So hopefully Watkins gets the legs on him. And is it Seamus Coleman, we believe, is out as well for them? So Youngie coming in for. Yeah, I think, look, we don't know how the players are going to respond coming back from international duty. I'm sure there'll be a few tired legs. But I'd like to think we got more than enough in our armoury to smash Everton to bits, to be honest. And the dream for me would be 2 goals up, Watkins scores a brace, Duran comes on and maybe scores 2 or more after 60 minutes. So, yeah, look, I think we got plenty in the armoury. If we have got tired legs in midfield with the likes of Anana, Tillemans, then we got Barkley who can come in and hopefully show what he's all about as well. So, yeah, look, I don't think we're concerned, but you never know. You never know what Everton, they're going to be scrappy and probably put men behind the ball and throw in some tackles, but I think we got too much quality. all over the park.
Yeah. Sam, a lot of talk before the game, or well, since the summer really, about Timo Rogbunum and Onana swapping places. A lot of Everton fans seem to think that Rogbunum's, the next coming of the Messiah, and think they've got a great deal, and that Onana was terrible. Do they have a point? I know but I have to play devil's advocate.
I don't think they have a point. Go on, carry on. Sorry.
No. I was going to say, no. Do they have a point, or is it sour grapes? And does their results so far this season give you an idea of where the actual truth lies?
Yeah, look, my mate Dave, he's a season ticket holder at Goodison, and he was not unhappy at the money they got from Onana, and actually, it's been very positive about Tim. But I do think that the match of the day called him out, didn't they? In the last week for the goals that they gave away, he wasn't tracking his run and stuff. But look, maybe there is a player, and maybe he'll be able to kind of earn a living at the bottom end of the Premier League. But what we've seen in terms of Onana's dynamism, he's got a couple of goals. He seems to get the club. He's bringing other players with him in terms of his enthusiasm. I think he could end up being an absolutely phenomenal signing. I think Everton have obviously had a really bad week last week. That result will have really deflated them, knocked the stuffing out of them. Will they come back and kind of bounce back? I just don't see it. I just don't think they've got the quality to do it. Not at Villa Park, not with the players that we're welcoming back. Hopefully Watkins will be fit, but if he's not, actually, all you can see is Duran thinking, this is it, this is my opportunity. So whether Watkins is fit or not, I'm really relaxed, to be honest, and it's not often that you could say that. Their team, I mean, the fact they've got Coleman and Young at fullback, I mean, there's not many winter fuel payments being paid, is there? I mean, it's just an absolute shocker.
Nice.
And,
yes.
It's a really poor state. Imagine, like, we look at our squad. Imagine if we had to play one of those two at fullback. I mean, I don't think Cash is a world beater, but bloody hell. They're a poor team. I do remember a couple of times when Dyche has done a number on us. I remember we went to Burnley when Grealish was playing, and I think we went 2-0 up. And my God, we battered them. We created about 6 or 7 really clear-cut chances. And then Chris Wood got a hat-trick of headers. Do you remember that?
Yeah, 3-2 away from home, wasn't it?
I
think Watkins and Grealish scored, didn't they? I think.
Yeah, that was a real pain, that match.
That was where the infamous John McGinn rant about his coat came from. I think
you got a shit coat.
They got a bit of beef, haven't they? Him and Dyche.
Yeah, Dyche got a bit of beef. Yeah. Roger's there saying whether we have a buyback clause on Rogbunum. I'm not sure, to be honest. I think it's been mentioned, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Hopefully not. I think, we're going to batter them on Saturday. I'm making the trip up from Tunbridge. So, hopefully no problems on the road. It's going to be a bit tight. Hopefully there won't be a snake of people trying to get in at 5:45. But no, I'm really excited to come up and watch that after 2 weeks off football. And I can only see one outcome, and that's 3 or 4-0 Villa. But, hostage to fortune and all that.
Yeah. I wasn't going to go to the game, but now I am. So I've reassigned my season ticket, and then my son has been desperate to go to a game, so I'm taking him. We're sitting in C6, which is next to the dugout, because he's been on at me that he doesn't want to sit. Because every time I've taken him, we've sat in Trinity Upper, and he wants to be close to the pitch so he can try and speak to Martinez, who's his favourite player. So
nice.
I'm gonna have to ask one of those blokes to takes a sign and says, "My son loves you." Can you sign his shirt?
Don't put a camera in his face.
Yeah. That won't, especially if we lose. So we'll be definitely going. And like you, Sam, I hope there's not massive queues, because I want to see the Villa store. I haven't seen that yet, and I want to actually experience the fan zone and things like that as well. Looking forward to that. It'd be good to have football back. Carl, this is how Everton lined up last time. We've talked about some of their injuries as well. So Pickford in goal, obviously, Tarkowski and Michael Keane. Stalwarts in the back, Mikhailenko, Coleman, who obviously we talked about is out. Rogbunum and Garner Gay, both former Villa players. Jack Harrison, who we apparently signed and then he didn't sign. Inde, who's former Sheffield United player, that went to, I think it went to Marseille or Monaco, was it? And then he's come back.
He was decent last week, and I think we'll have to. I think Onana and Tielemans in there. We'll have to make sure that he doesn't get on the ball too much in the pocket. But I think he's their main threat.
Carl, you worried about Everton?
No, not especially not after seeing that team. God, they're shit. not a single player gets into our team.
Yeah,
Barely any of them get onto our bench.
Yeah.
No, we shouldn't have any trouble beating them. What I think will work in our favour is we know that Unai likes to plan sort of weeks in advance, watching videos of how they play and then sets up against how they play. Sometimes a manager, if he has anything about him, might change it up a bit. We know Sean Dyche isn't going to change any fucking thing up. He will know exactly how they're going to play. And I would genuinely be surprised if we don't win by three goals at least.
Yeah. I think Everton could be on the back of a hammer in here. I don't want to jinx us, but I brought.
Well, you've all jinxed us because you're also the same thing.
Yeah.
I brought Onana into my fancy football team. The Sultans of Unai. I think Everton are gonna. I think they're gonna be leaking a few. Pickford's. Let's not forget Pickford's been.
Who's your captain this week, Alec?
Ooh,
he's gone.
Do you know what? I might still. Am I there?
Oh, he's back. Am I back as well?
Yeah.
Alec, who's your captain? Fancy football captain?
I don't like to just get on the bandwagon and go Haaland every week, but I might be tempted. Ollie Watkins. We'll see.
Might be for the bench though. He's showing yellow on the app, just by the way. I've
seen that.
75% chance of playing. I will see.
I think he'll start. I think that was just a precaution and just knowing he needs to probably have a bit more time on the training ground, maybe.
Bailey out though, right? But no Bailey, we're not expecting.
Yeah, Bailey's out. Bailey should be out, I think, and Cash is out. You'd imagine Ramsey comes in, so I reckon my prediction starting lineup will be Martinez, Bogard, maybe Konsa, Powell, Luka Dean, Onana, Tillemans, McGinn, Ramsey, Rodgers, and Watkins. I think would be the 4-4-2.
Not much width there, is there?
No. But it's weird, isn't it, thinking about it now, with the amount of crap we gave Steven Gerrard for the lack of width and no wingers. But we pretty much only ever play with one winger, but it doesn't seem to affect us just because our fullbacks get so wide and at least one gets wide. And,
so maybe there's an argument for having, and I'm not going to try and pronounce his full surname, but
Costa.
having
Ned.
Ned right back. If we haven't got the width sort of further forwards, he's fast as anything, isn't he? He could
see.
We didn't mention him actually. He played really well against Nico Williams.
I was going to mention him, but I was worried about pronouncing his name. So
I'm 100% with you on that. I think I've backed him for a start since the beginning of the season, and I actually think by playing Bogard on the at right back, we risk injuring a centre back, and I think that's a big risk. I'd rather see Costa there at right back because I think he's only 18, but he's got everything to his game. I've not seen. I don't know. I think positionally, he's an athlete. He's up and down. He links the play down the right as well, and he can cut inside. I actually think he's more confident going forward and hugging the touchline than Cash is as well. So I'd chuck him in there. 100% chuck him in there. But
I like Costa. Yeah, I think he's. I think Unai said he's tactically naive. Was the phrase he used, or was tactically naive in that game. But he's got, he's 18 years old. He's got all the makings of a top class right back.
And who isn't tactically naive compared to Unai Emery?
True.
We can't all live up to his high standards.
Yeah, I mean, Cece says there. I do think Everton on their day have players to hurt us, and I do agree. Like some McNeil and Calvin. I think
I completely disagree.
I think they did in the 80s.
Yeah. Okay, fine. All right, fine.
Graham Sharp's going to be worrying us.
That's it. Oh, Sheedy, you've got to look after Sheedy in the midfield.
Daniel Amakachi is going to sub himself back on again and score the winner.
All joking.
There we go. Aurelio says that.
All joking.
That's what we need. Appropriate level of Villanueva. Thank you. Finally.
Yeah.
We're too confident on there. Here we go. This is a good one, Alec, for you.
Come on.
Where's it gone? Oh, I'm trying to find it now. There it is. Sorry. Miami villain Adam Lallana love child. That's harsh. I don't think he's going to be back on Lallana.
The one I've had for a few years is Fry from Futurama, so that's probably an upgrade. I'll take that.
Fry from Futurama. Okay, I've not seen that.
Who's the Bristolian comedian? I get him as well these days. I forget his name.
Russell Howard.
Russell Howard, I've had that one
Yeah.
yesterday as well.
Leamingtonian, isn't he?
Lived in Leamington. I don't know if he still does, but I used to see him on the train.
Bloody hell. I just got one of those
Fry from
faces, mate.
Futurama.
Yeah.
Right.
got one
Oh,
of those
Fry from
faces.
Futurama. Yes, sorry, yeah. Obviously the main person in Futurama. Yeah, okay, that's good. Right, let's get your quick predictions, and we'll do the Villa Vault. Carl, as always,
27 now.
There it is.
I
We're
think
back.
it's got
We're back,
I'm
baby.
gonna put a quid on that.
Yeah, I genuinely think this is the closest we're going to get to that coming right.
Oh, I can't wait for next week's pod. I'm gonna clip that after we lose 3-0. Sam,
4-0.
Beat me
4-0.
to it.
Alec,
Yeah, 4-0. I'm going to
4-0.
go 5, just to one up him. 5-0.
I think 2-1. I'm gonna go. But you guys are being too positive.
No, 4-1. I'll go 4-1. I'll change 5-0.
Dominic Cruciate ligament. I like that.
Oh, very good. I like that. It's good.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So let's close off this pod with our usual. The Villa Vault.
Right.
Right.
Have you not got a win for this?
Sure. Oh, sorry. I was going to play the thing. Yeah. Here we go.
Oh.
Let's play.
Right. Taking it back
all original artwork. That is, by the way, all original.
Some serious graphics.
I was there at this game. It was I was up in the Midlands having Christmas with the family, and 2006 Boxing Day. All right. Was anybody else at the game? Can they remember the result?
I remember the game. Yeah, I think.
I don't remember the game. Maybe someone. What?
2005. Sorry, not 6. 2005.
So David O'Leary times.
Was Milan Boris playing for us?
He was.
Yeah, I know the game.
Liverpool.
No. He wants to know the score, Alec. This is
against
your first
Everton.
time.
No, I
This
was
is your
wondering who's
first
it
time.
against.
No.
It's Everton. It's always against the opponent.
Sorry, Alec. I haven't explained
Sweet,
to you.
yeah.
This is my bad as a host. Sorry.
So you lose all 3 lives there, mate. You're out.
You're out.
Sorry, lads.
You go. Phone a friend. So
Good fail.
basically, the Villa Vault is Sam picks a previous encounter between the two sides of the game that's coming up, and we have to guess things like the score, goal scorers, and the starting lineup.
Okay. I
Right,
see. I'm with
there
you.
go. Yeah.
All right. So David O'Leary times. Yeah. Can anyone think of the score?
I think I know it, but I'll
Go on.
wait for you guys.
Let's see, Omar. Let's see how your memory is.
Was it like 3-1 or 4-1?
I'll go 3.
4-0?
4-0.
4-0. That was it. Yeah.
Aston Villa boss David O'Leary said, "I thought the first goal was important." Sorry, I can't help it.
There's nothing like him.
I was delighted it
Generic
came.
Irishman.
Generic Irishman.
Okay,
You're
he said,
Irish
I thought the first goal was important. I was delighted it came because I thought we should have been 2 or 3 up before that. It might have been fortunate. I haven't seen it, but we got it, and we deserve a break this season. And if we got it, I'm delighted.
Handball,
So,
isn't it?
4-0, yeah. Yeah, it was a controversial one. There was a handball not given in the build-up to the goal.
Aros.
So who scored the goals then in the 4-0 win?
Barros.
Yeah, he got 2. Who got the other 2?
Angel.
Yep.
Was Barry in that side?
Harry was in the team, but he didn't get a goal.
Gavin McCann.
No.
Was he in the team?
Yes.
Was Hendry in that side?
Hendry was not in the team.
I have a feeling it was a defender.
Yeah, it was.
Olaf
Is it
Melbourne.
Ridgewell?
No.
Ridgewell. No, Ridgewell. No.
No. It was a player, classic case of second touch, always a tackle, this bloke.
Mark Delaney.
Mark Delaney.
It was a.
Delaney.
If I remember correctly, it was a sliding tackle finish or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Uh,
Probably
it was
broke
a
someone's
terrible-
leg on the way through.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, and the whole end loved it because it's
Yeah.
loads of effort
Yeah.
from Mark Delaney, even though he can't control the ball. All right. So what was our 11 on the day then? Who was in goal?
Sorensen.
Sorensen in goal. Delaney right back. Centre backs?
Malberg.
Malberg.
No.
Larson.
then.
No. Larson.
Ridgewell, yes. Sorry. Ridgewell, yes.
Bit early for Larson, right?
Yeah. Ridgewell, yes.
Aaron Hughes.
Aaron Hughes injury boost.
Oh,
Yeah,
Aaron Hughes
absolutely.
introduced.
He's out for 2 weeks.
Left back.
J. Lloyd Samuel.
No, brilliant player at left back. Wish he had played longer.
Boomer.
Boomer.
Quality.
Wilfred.
All right, midfield.
Gavin McCann, Steve
Yep.
Davis,
Yep.
Barry.
Barry's been mentioned. Yep.
Solano, did he play?
No.
No, it was after he came the year after, I think.
This player had 2 spells at the club.
Milner.
Quality
Yes.
player.
Yeah,
Jimmy
Milner.
He was on loan, obviously, at the time. And who was up front?
Barros Angel.
No.
Barros.
Angel came on as a sub and 70 minutes. Who did he replace?
Vassell?
Luke.
No. Yeah,
Moore?
you got it, Omar. Yeah, Luke Moore.
Luke Moore.
Luke Moore. God, good knowledge.
Subs not used. Stuart Taylor in goal and Ulysses De La Cruz.
De La Cruz, yeah.
He's still there at that time. Jeez.
It's not an awful team, is it? I mean, there's some
Not
quality
bad,
in there,
no.
particularly in the midfield. And bringing Angel on from the bench is pretty good. But yeah,
I remember the
4-0
goal. Do
win.
you remember the goal? Do you remember the Angel goal? It was a nice little 1-2 with link up with Barros.
Yeah, it was well worked. Yeah,
I remember
No, you
that
mentioned
goal.
we only had 32,500 watching. It's my big thing, like in 2005. I don't know if you remember, but the economy was doing really well. People had a bit of disposable income. Only 32,500 turned up. Fast forward,
That was quite standard for.
we couldn't fill the ground back then. And fast forward, no one's got any money, and ticket prices are through the roof. And I know the quality of the football is a bit better. I'm still surprised we didn't fill the ground then. Anyway, I digress. The Everton team was not bad. This was the team under Moyes that used to kind of finish high at the table. Who was in goal on the page, Rick?
Lescott.
In goal?
Tim Howard.
No. Before that, Cornwall's finest, Nigel Martin.
Oh,
Was he in
Nigel
goal?
Martin. How old was he?
Right, he must have been old even then.
Did you say Cornwall?
Yeah, he's from Cornwall. Yeah.
Was he Cornish? I never knew that.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Alex from Torquay.
Okay.
Definitely
he's
still lad. Yeah.
Cornish. Yeah.
Don't think much for that.
Right. So what about the back four?
Stubbs.
Nope.
Tony Hibbert.
Yeah, brilliant knowledge. That excellent, impressive.
Leighton Baines. Was
No, he wasn't. Too early.
Fucking hell.
Nigerian centre half, quality player.
Yobo.
Joseph Yobo. Yeah. Kroldrup, never heard of him.
Kirk Coldrup, Danish.
Philip Neville.
Oh, Nev. Yeah.
Was he there then?
And now we're getting
Arteta?
into the realms of the good players. Yeah, Arteta.
Cahill,
Good.
Arteta.
Cahill, good player. Arteta, good. A bit of an Evertonian stalwart who was a bit kind of unsung hero in the midfield for them around that time.
Leon Osman.
Yeah, Leon Osman, very
Yeah,
good.
good player.
And then a player that we were always linked with up top but never signed.
Ooh.
Back in the day, we really wanted to sign him, but we just never quite got it over the line.
Oh, James Beattie.
BT, yeah. And then
Tapped him up, didn't we?
McFadden, Phil,
James.
Steve,
Oh.
with
James.
yeah, James, I think it was.
No,
James
I think
McFadden.
he went
James
to Blues,
McFadden.
didn't
James,
he?
James McFadden, left winger. Yeah.
James McFadden, yeah. And then they had
I
Richard
think
Wright.
he played in the 5-1, didn't he? I think James McFadden. I think it was then.
Yeah,
Did he?
I think he probably
think
did.
he
Yeah.
did.
They had Richard Wright on the bench with Kevin Kilban and someone called Ferrari, who I've never heard of. So 4-0 win. And
I think Ferrari was a youngster at Villa and he went to Everton. I'll check.
are you thinking of Ferrarese?
Yeah, I am. Ignore
Yeah,
me.
I think that's a different bloke.
Yeah.
That's the
So I thought I picked that because it was 4-0. That's what I think the score was going to be on Saturday. It was that the only year when we were actually quite good and could have finished fourth on the last day if results had gone our way? Or was it the season after?
I think that was the season after. Yeah, because Barros, because that was. I'm trying to think, that was the year that we signed Carlton Cole, and then Barros was signed in January, I think, maybe.
That's right.
When Milner was there. We finished maybe I think 8th or 9th or 11th or something like that, I think, from memory.
So what was the year with the Gary Cahill red kit?
I think it was it this year? It might be the same year.
that year.
It was the same
Yeah,
year.
I remember from the kit.
Yeah. Because this also might be the one where we played Wickham when we beat them 7-2. Obviously, we've got Wickham coming up.
Yeah.
In the cup.
Anyone going to Wickham?
No, I did. It was mooted. It was mooted, but
I'm going to go.
Is anyone going to see Young Boys at the Wankdor Stadium?
Sadly not.
That was the one team I wanted to draw, just because that's when you know you're in the Champions League, when you're off to the Wankdor Stadium to play Young Boys.
There's
No.
something
Yeah, no,
not right about that.
Unfortunately not.
Sadly,
Unfortunately
sadly not.
No.
Sadly not. No. There is some tickets going on. If you look on Facebook, Aston Villa Ticket Exchange, it's a group on there. There's plenty of tickets going on there. I think this year they've got e-tickets rather than having to give you a passport. So I think for those fans who've travelled out there or are travelling out there, they might get lucky.
I'm actually going out to Bruges when we're playing there with no hope of getting a ticket, but you never know. I might. Be able
It's
to,
honestly
snap
worth
one.
looking on there. I
On
think
that
you might be
Facebook
able to
group, it's
get
quite good. Yeah.
tickets. Yeah. Sam's on there as well. Yeah.
I'm not on Facebook anymore, so.
Yeah, I haven't got the app, but I'm always going on it now because via Chrome, just because I'm looking for tickets.
Yeah.
By the way, if anyone's got a spare buying ticket for my brother, let me know.
Yeah. Is this all legal and above board, or are we?
Yeah, you can assign the ticket. You can assign the ticket
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
to a family
I was
member
gonna
or a close friend.
I was just going to ask you boys, a fit Watkins and a fit Duran, you still starting Ollie?
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
I think there's a funny position at the moment where Duran deserves a start, but Ollie Watkins doesn't deserve to be dropped. So
I go with that.
An injury would be good for all concerned.
Wow, not for us having Watkins injured.
Just for a week. He's got a knock. He's got a knock.
Shut up,
Can't
Sam.
play the
Shut
full
up.
game.
Shut up.
I was reading a bit of stuff earlier just about what Vidagani and Monchi and Emery collectively, what they're saying about Duran. And I actually think those fellas have pulled off a masterstroke keeping hold of Duran. When you start to hear about the amount of offers that were there.
40, wasn't it? Yeah.
And you're hearing about his attitude now in training. That guy is going to be dynamite for us in no time. But I hope it doesn't come at the expense of Ollie. I hope they're both firing and we can rotate between them and we got two strikers banging bags of goals. Because
we saw last year then. Plenty of games there, aren't there? They're available.
Yeah, loads. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if Duran goes and starts against like young boys or something like that.
Yeah,
or even right. I think that will happen. Just give him his shot and see what he does. And
I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because we had this discussion a lot under the Dean Smith days when we were trying to upgrade parts of the team, and it's always we had this with, I can't remember like whether we talked. I think probably Mings was one, and we were sort of saying, well, Mings helped us get up from the championship, and do we really want to be upgrading him? And I think that it feels naturally like we need to be really loyal to Ollie and say, look, the goals he got last season, obviously he's been instrumental in us getting into the Champions League. But do you have to take sentimentality out of it and say, look, I mean, if Duran is scoring goals every time he comes on, if he's running defenders ragged and Watkins looks a bit ring rusty, I mean, surely the manager's got to make the decision for the club, not for out of loyalty.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will.
Yeah. I'm not saying it with any sentimentality, really. I think looking at the two still, who I'd still want to start against Everton, it'd still be Watkins at this stage. But if Watkins doesn't start scoring, he has to be dropped. Ultimately, that's his job. And if he doesn't, he has to be replaced for a bit and then he'll have to put up with the battle. I know he didn't like the battle with Ings. But that's something he's gonna have to deal with because we're in the Champions League now. We need everyone participating and playing their part. And I just think right now I'd start Watkins still. Was it the fourth game last season that he scored his first goal?
Might be the fifth or sixth game actually. Chelsea, wasn't it?
He tends to be a slow starter. So
and
then he got a hat trick against Brighton. Were they his first goals?
Yeah. So I think he got Chelsea away and then Brighton hat trick.
Yeah.
And then he went on a run. And he normally does, doesn't he? He normally goes on a run. So
completely. Yeah. But as you say, I agree with you, Carl, 100%. Like, 2-3 more games and Duran's getting goals from the bench.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think Rodgers has got some goals coming as well. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah. You should have had some assists as well already.
Yeah, definitely.
Well. Yeah, I think.
Anyway,
going back to that, I couldn't believe how much. I know it's going back a couple of games, but how much he ran Partey and Rice ragged. That was unreal.
I think he's going to be a superstar.
Yeah, 100%. Got everything.
We'll leave it there then, boys, for this week. Thank you all for watching and listening. And whatever podcast platform you're on, please do subscribe, like, follow, whatever it is that you have to do on there. We'll be back next week, probably post Everton and Young Boys game, unless we can get one in between. We'll see. But it's great to see the boys back. like I said, we've got a couple of additional squad members this year as well. Maybe we'll see AJ come back as well. He's a busy lad these days, isn't he? So
Yeah, he's essentially done his ACL.
he's essentially done his ACL.
Yes.
Yeah,
He's not actually.
he's not done his mental ACL.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you to the boys, and yeah, any final
Up the
words?
Villa.
Up the Villa. There we go.
But the Euro Villa.